Oh, we are being live streamed on YouTube. That was a great intro. Good
Nice.
evening, everyone. It's a wonderful Saturday evening with your boys at the Middle-Aged Guys show. I really can't. Well, yeah, the boys.
The
We
boys.
are middle-aged. We're not really boys anymore. No, middle-aged guys. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. So hello, YouTube world. Um, there is something before we start tonight. I got to I gotta share a story. This isn't story time with Adam Cole. This is old school stories with Joe here. Um, but so one of my friends from high school, Bondo is his nickname. He sent
Mongo?
Yes, his name is Bondo.
Mongo.
His last name is Bond, like James Bond,
James
double oh
Bond.
007. So we called him Bondo. But anywho,
Anywho,
he he sent me a video that is on YouTube from our 1992 eighth grade dance.
Oh, wow.
I fucking kid you not.
That's a
I was like,
throwback.
I was like,
Who the hell would do that to you guys?
I was gonna
I was like,
say, who would save that and then decide to load it onto YouTube 30 years later?
it was like, first off, where the fuck did you find this? He was like, it was on Facebook. And I'm like, okay, I'm on a Freedom High School Facebook page. I don't remember seeing that on there, right? I
Hmm.
didn't go look on the Facebook page as of yet. But anywho, I'm watching this video and the video is like 50 minutes long. I was like, holy
Wow.
shit. And first off, I had to remember if I even went to the eighth grade dance. I was like, did I go? And I text Jeremy back. I'm like, was I there? He was like, yeah, you were there. And I was like, okay. So then I started kind of thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I think I was there. I think a couple things I remember. So I'm like, all right, let's play this video. And it shows it outside East Hills Middle School and shows all the kids are lining up at the door to get into the gym, go down the hallway. We had like little raffle tickets. We had to put our names on it and put it in a basket, and they were letting us in. The guy with the camcorders like videotaping us, dude. And I saw my friend Bondo, who he was rocking a white pinstripe White Sox jersey.
Nice.
um, but I miss seeing the faces of the kids, and I saw some of my other friends in the neighborhood, like my friend Slivka and my friend Martin and whatnot. And I was like, all right, where's
Slivka, that is it. So I don't, I hate to well, you know what? I'm going to save that thought. Slivka,
okay,
because
say that thought.
there's,
Because some of these names I'm using last names and not their
yes.
first names. So then I'm looking, well, my friend Marcus. So I'm looking for my friend Marcus because I know he had worn a suit, but I couldn't remember. There was something about the suit. Well, I'll get to that. But anyhow, watching these kids, and I'm like, and it was like I'm remembering everything. I'm like, oh, that's right. We had like a karaoke thing. We had like they set up a writing wall for us, so those like pictures and whatnot hanging up and walking through the video, and there's people I forgot that I went to middle school with. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that person. I remember that person. And then it was funny. So the wife was in the kitchen while I was in the living room, and I'm watching the video, and see my eighth grade girlfriend show up on the video, right?
Word.
Hmm.
I was like, and then I go, oh my God, there's my eighth grade girlfriend. Holy shit. She goes, uh-huh. I go, it's Julie Simon. And she has the flip high, flare wave bangs going on and all that stuff as like the old 90s, like big hair. Like it was the
Big
end of the
hair in the
big
90s.
hair, but it was like a different type of big hair with the waves in the front and whatever. But I was just like, holy shit. And there was just some people I totally forgot about because before I started, as I was watching, I'm trying like, man, who was in my eighth grade class? Because there was some people that a couple of them didn't even go to Freedom. They ended up going to a different high school. So it was just weird. It was, very reminiscing and all that stuff. So I'm watching the video and Bono's like, he's like, "Did you see yourself yet?" And I'm like, "No." I said, "I haven't seen myself." He's like, "I saw you twice." I saw myself once. It wasn't like I was like, "Yeah, I think that was me." Um, but then I found my friend Marcus and the suit that he was wearing to the eighth grade dance. The suit that he was wearing to this eighth grade dance was reminiscent of one MC Hammer type of
Nice.
suit with the flared shoulder pads in the suit jacket and whatnot. Not too crazy, but yeah, it was, and he was rocking some dance moves with some of the ladies that we went to eighth grade with. But it was
Couldn't touch
fun.
it, right?
What was that?
You couldn't touch it, right?
Yep. Um, it was funny. It was definitely funny to watch some of that stuff and some of the kids that I was friends with and some of the kids that I didn't like, and all the clicky people and whatnot. But yeah, it was fun. And then I sent it to Marcus, and Marcus is like, he calls me, he's like, "Oh my God, I remember wearing that suit." I was like, "No, I found you. I found you with that suit on." And he was like, "Why is this even up? This should be burned. Like this copy needs to go away." And I'm like, dude, you don't like you see you like I see you like three times in the whole video. But anyhow, it was fun, and then I sent it off to a couple of my other friends from that I still talk to from high school, and they got a kick out of it. They thought it was hilarious. So yeah, it was just that was a good part of my that happened Thursday. That was really funny. I'm like
Nice.
1992, like this is on YouTube now. Like this is insane. I just couldn't believe it. It was crazy.
See, now what the worst thing about that is, of course, is that everybody knows once something's online, it's always there.
There forever.
I know.
Yeah. Those are
It's
the type of things that it's like, well, I know this may have gotten videotaped, but I know it's never finding its way to YouTube. Uh-oh.
not it has. Listen, unless you know what I looked like in eighth grade, I guarantee you none of you guys would be able to pick me out
Well, I'm trying to picture you
I'm
because
hoping
without.
you look like Nico.
I had to go back and pick myself out.
I mean, I'm
I'm
trying to
hoping you
picture.
look like your son.
Uh, did you have the really
No,
curly hair?
no, he definitely, yeah, no, never had curly hair.
No, I'm trying to picture you without facial hair, and I'm getting like the blue screen of death in my brain.
Never seen him without it.
It will
Listen,
not compute.
I would say the only facial hair, like I had a mustache, but like the facial hair, my beard, and my neck, it wasn't at my eighth grade. It was coming in like very all over the place. So I was shaving in eighth grade because it was very patchy. It wasn't like ninth grade, halfway through ninth grade. I had let it go, I think in like springtime, and I was actually able to rock sideburns properly. And like
Sideburns.
the chin strap thing going on. I was rocking that in ninth grade. I was finally able to do that. So it was cool. But yeah, it's hard to picture me without like zero facial hair.
Yeah.
I will find a picture and share it with you guys, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so Jeremy, your thought, Slivka, Martin, what do you got there?
So you said his name is Martin Slivka?
Well, is two people.
Oh,
Two people. One of them is Slivka. That's one kid. His last name's Slivka, and my other friend his last name's Martin. That's
okay.
we
The
we
reason I
some of my friends we went by their first names. Some of them we just went by their last names.
okay.
Go ahead. I'm
The
sorry.
the reason I ask is because, funny enough, because that's not a very common last name, Slivka.
No.
Um, there is a kid that's graduating this year, and his name is AJ Slivka, from Northampton. And I was like, I wonder if that's relation to maybe your old high school friend.
It could be. Um, I don't know. It definitely is possible. Might be a cousin, cousin's kid, I would say. That's what I wanted to say. It could be a cousin's kid.
Yeah, because
I
your
don't, I
buddy doesn't
don't,
have any kids or too young.
my friend Brian, his first name's Brian. My friend Slivka, he has, his kids are a little bit younger than Nico.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so yeah,
So like
could be related, but
they're
not his
between the
kids.
ages of 10 and 14, I think.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just a very uncommon name like my last name to be able to say, oh, well, maybe. Just never know. But yeah,
Yeah,
this kid was good. This kid was he's a good football player. He committed to a small college, Grove City college.
okay.
So,
Yeah, no, it definitely could be. You never know,
yeah.
honestly. 100%. All right, let's see.
Well, the big
You know
fat man
what?
in white just is taking his frustration out on the FTR and Danielson.
You know what I understand about YouTube? I don't know if this is just me. This is
Fan
just a me
Charger's
thing.
terrible.
But every time we go live, it takes several minutes before the chat comes up for me, and it takes some time for
What
me
is
to
going
actually
on, YouTube? Fix this stuff.
to I do not know what the deal is. You know what? I'm just going to go here and
So
I'm
I gotta
going.
ask Pat, have you been paying attention to basketball with the playoffs going on?
Oh, you damn right he is.
Okay, because from what I've been
I
seeing, I
mean,
have not really been paying
yes,
attention either.
yes and no. I'm not sitting there watching the games because I just can't watch NBA games for whatever reason. Um, I mean, I'm aware of what's going on.
Yeah,
Right?
it
And
I've
sounds like
watched more
the
Knicks games than you have. That's not good there, Patrick.
sounds like the Knicks are falling apart.
well, they're falling apart literally. I
Yes.
mean, nobody's healthy. So
Yeah, they do have some. Brunson is taking on a lot of the load. They do have some injured players that are key players to their
Well,
situation.
and from
yeah, it says that
what
like
I've seen
Hart.
against the Sixers, Brunson's legit.
It
Like
says
he's a
that
legit
Hart.
player.
Yeah, it says like that like Hart and Anobi are hopeful to play tomorrow, and it's like, well, if they can't, they ain't gonna win. So it's like without Randall, they're without Robinson, they're without Bogdanovich. It's like Ananobi's been in and out. Hart's banged up. It's like who Brunson got banged up in one game too. So it's like who the hell hasn't been hurt on that team? So it's like I'd like for them to win tomorrow, obviously, but they're not going to beat Boston. So, but anyway, the Rangers have been more primary for my concern. So
Yeah, out of the both teams, I feel like the odds of making it to the championship game and winning a title would probably hinge more on the Rangers than the Knicks.
yeah, the problem is, of course, I'm not 100% optimistic about the Rangers. I don't think Florida's a great matchup for them. So
Yeah, I mean, true, true, but you never know.
no, you never do.
It's we will see. We will definitely see when's that series start? Is it tomorrow or Monday?
What series? Rangers
Oh,
and
never mind.
Mavericks.
Never mind.
That doesn't start till Wednesday.
Yeah. There's a game to is it tonight? Is game
Yes,
seven Vancouver?
we got game six of Vancouver Edmonton going on right now. Edmonton has a 3-1 lead at the end of two, and if Edmonton wins, they'll have a game seven on Monday.
All right. That's
The other
okay.
the other the other three series in the NHL are over now. We got Rangers
Yeah,
in
they're
the
over.
Eastern Conference Finals, and
I knew there was a
Stars
game
will play the
tonight.
winner of that series.
I knew there was a game today. I just couldn't remember what time it was starting at.
And it looks like Oklahoma City's trying to force a game seven as well.
Yeah, you know what? That both both series in the Western Conference have been interesting. The young teams have been giving it to the veteran teams, but you know, um, it's a fun NBA playoffs to watch for the most part. I just like the fact that there's a handful of teams that are no longer in the playoffs, so I don't have to hear those storylines, to be honest with you. But with that being said, it's hard. It is hard like to watch NBA games. The reffing just horrendous half the time. Um,
Foul,
the shit, the shit. You can
foul,
foul me all you want.
technical
Um,
foul. You
well,
scored the ref.
that wasn't a foul. But and the gameplay from the players is just it's hard to watch the type of offense anymore that you see. It drives, and I'll say this to fucking blue in the face, can't breathe talk anymore. It drives me absolutely fucking insane when I see guys drive to the hole, jump in the air, and instead of trying to make a layup, they spin their body and pass the ball out to a three all the time. Like you are so far, like just finish the layup. You can get an and one or make a basket. But it's just the new thing of drive and dish, drive and dish. But the problem is they're driving to the hole and they're uncontested and they're still dishing out. And it blows my fucking mind when I see that shit. It's so hard to watch um how they do stuff. It just is. It's why I watch college basketball twice as much as I watch the NBA. It's hard for me, even my favorite team. It's even hard for me to watch Bulls games because they all fucking do the same shit. So that's why I watch so much more college basketball. I need some sanity in watching basketball, and the WNBA. I watch a lot of that too, and women's
Yeah,
college basketball.
it's
So,
one of those things like with the NBA, sorry, not the WNBA. The NBA, the really good teams are the ones that when it comes to playoff time start to work as a cohesive unit. It doesn't try it's not all this showy stuff for the sake of showy. You know, they really start to crack
yeah,
down. The defense gets a little bit better. I want to say it's great, but it's definitely better than what it is in the regular season. Like if you're gonna watch NBA basketball, you're better off watching playoff basketball because at least it's not as outrageous as the regular season is. Um,
yeah, very true.
and I don't. I mean, I get it. They're selling a product. It's because the NBA, at least for the regular season, I feel has been more about selling the product. Players selling themselves on how well they can shoot or how fancy a dunk can be, how many points can they score, things that of that nature, which gets people to view and makes it exciting and stuff like that. Um, but if you're a kid watching the NBA and you think this is how you can play the game, going into youth basketball and then going into high school basketball, that's where there's a huge problem because that's not how you can get it done at those levels. Like it just doesn't work. There's the reason it works at that level is because guys won't play hard defense and the skill level of those players is astronomical compared to where you are.
Hmm.
So it's unfortunate because a
100%.
lot of kids watch the NBA and then try to emulate it. Hell, we did it as kids. We watched the NBA and and try to emulate it. People would be
Yep.
like, they would do a 360 layup and be like, Jordan. Like you didn't dunk it, but you were like, I did a 360 layup, Jordan.
I know. I know.
So it's not like it's things haven't changed. It's the way the game is played that has changed, and kids trying to emulate it in basketball instead
Yeah.
of listening to their coaches and trying to learn fundamentals and all the things like that. Now they just want to do what they think they can do, and really they can't do it.
Yeah. It's gonna work, coach. I did it the other day. Yeah,
I'm
okay.
gonna cook this guy. Watch me, coach. I'm gonna cook him. Yep, and then you turned over the ball. Thanks, bud.
Yep. Yep.
Appreciate it. 2 points for
There's
them. Good
always
job.
something. I think Pat's trying to show us his Beetle boobs.
He loves us too.
No, I keep hearing something outside and I can't figure out where it's coming from. But it's just like it's after 10 o'clock. If you're carrying on a fucking conversation outside, fucking take it inside. Jesus Christ.
Or just talk a little softer. Jeez. Shouldn't be yelling at each other
So I can't
outside.
figure out where it's coming from. I didn't see anybody like right down in the parking lot, but I couldn't look like all the way closest to the building and shit. And I don't know if it's maybe like the people underneath me, maybe out in their little, deck, but I don't know. Just it's annoying me because I hear it and it's distracting me, and I'm easily distracted.
Yes, you are.
I wish there was football to talk about, but there's nothing happening in football right now. No
There's
big
a
trade
lot happening in
injuries.
football. The schedule came out this week, mother.
Yeah, and I saw a terrible TikTok for the Eagles.
The Giants and the Eagles will finish the season with each other again, which is becoming almost as annoyingly consistent as the Giants and the Cowboys opening the season. Except the Giants and the Cowboys aren't opening the season this year. But the bad part about that then is the Giants and the Cowboys will play each other both times on Thursday this year.
Well, the Eagles are opening the season in where the hell did I see it? They're playing Green Bay, not in Green Bay. In shit.
Mexico City.
No, it's Brazil,
No.
I believe.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're in
Brazil. Yeah,
Brazil.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. I was like,
Well,
what the hell?
the Giants will be going to Deutschland.
And the
I'm
Bears
just
get
like,
to play Jacksonville, and guess where? Good old London,
good
Tottenham.
old England.
Daly's place.
I just
I don't think they're
it's one
going
of
to
those
fill
things
that
like I
up.
get it. I get they're trying to make the NBA, the NFL an international brand and people from other countries definitely watch the NFL. Like there's no doubt about that, but like I think we're getting a little nuts here with these
Don't,
location football
dude,
games.
don't worry. In about 15 years, when they do another expansion within the next 15 years, one of them will be out of the US. Guaranteed. Guaranteed will be from a city that's not within the US. And don't
Well,
count
then it
on
can't be
that
the
being
National
Canada.
Football League anymore.
Don't count on it being Canada.
It have to be the Nationwide Football League.
Nationwide.
Nationwide is on your side.
The World Football
Yeah,
League.
it'd have to be the World Football League. Can't even say nation. That's considering
No,
keeping it
it'll
in the
be the
same.
They
N.
don't want to make reference to the World Football League
They
either.
want they will name it the NWFL, the National World Football League. That's what it will be.
This has got to be one of the dumbest things I've seen them do.
You guys
Who the
must be
NFL?
watching Collision, and I am not.
I just went to Cage Side Seats to see if I missed
Oh,
any news stories, but I'm seeing this thing about Tony stripping naked and wrapping herself in Serena's flag.
well, I mean, the first part I wouldn't mind seeing. I don't care about the flag part.
Well, I mean, there's obviously no chance that she actually stripped naked. So,
One can always wish.
but I think it's I've gone back and forth with that gimmick so many times. Sometimes I think it's great. Sometimes I think it's the worst thing ever. So,
Oh, before we switch over. So I heard people complaining about the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule after Thanksgiving, like their second half of their schedule, that they play all of their conference games, all six or five, however it is. They play all their conference games after in the second half of the season.
That's weird.
And then I'm looking at the Bears schedule, and yeah, the same thing with them. Thanksgiving Day, they don't play a division opponent until the Bears play Detroit on Thanksgiving Day.
Hmm.
And then they play Detroit like 3 weeks later. We played Minnesota twice, Green Bay twice. Yeah, two, four, six games.
you mean the
So
division games?
out of our last 8 games, six of them are all division rivals.
Yeah, I was gonna say you mean the division games, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
I just find that's just weird. And then I noticed that the Bears' last game of the season, we play Green Bay at Green Bay, but it's either going to be January 4th or January 5th. They haven't decided which day yet. It's
Yeah, it's like that for the last 2 weeks, I think.
to be
Well,
determined.
it's one of those things like, eh, division rivalry games get more viewership from the fans, for sure. but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think loading them like that is the best thing for your schedule. But
It was just
yeah.
weird. Like, and I guess so I was watching one of the Chicago podcasts, and they had one of the ladies on there from the NFL that's part of the scheduling, and they were asked about like, why, how did Pittsburgh and Chicago get? Well, it was, she goes, it's very kooky, definitely a little bit different, but it's not what we didn't plan it like that. It kind of just happened with, the European games, and some other stuff she was talking about, and it was like matchups, and we're counting on the Bears' schedule this year, um, with like game stories because of their number one pick going against these former number one picks and Kurt number one pick, so on and so on and so on. I feel like they took some of the games, for instance, our first game of the season is against the Titans. Who's their quarterback? First rounder, Will Levis last year.
He wasn't a
Second
first
game,
rounder.
what was that?
He wasn't a first rounder.
Who's second rounder? I
Yeah,
forget what.
yeah, yeah.
Second game of the season, we play at the Titans Sunday Night Football. Caleb Williams versus CJ Stroud. And then a couple
And
weeks later,
Texans.
we play at the Commanders. So it's Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels, quote unquote. Suppose we'll see if that happens, which probably will. And there was a couple other games before Thanksgiving where it's kind of like storyline driven games in regards to like matchups and whatnot. And I'm just like, Jesus. But yeah, it's interesting. I will say that. But listen, I'm not worrying about football until, you know, they all go to training camp. Rookie camps are one thing, and
Hmm.
the other little mandatory camp for a couple days is another thing. Just keep guys healthy, and when training camp comes, we'll see what happens. We'll see who gets cut and who gets picked up, and what free agents are still out there get picked up as well. So other than that, football is just
Well,
football.
well, yeah, I was telling.
The Giants have two winnable games to start the season, and then they have a stretch of 6 weeks that's going to be really tough, which also includes a Thursday game and three primetime games.
So how many of those prime time games and they rocking those new jerseys with?
I don't know. They said that those jerseys will only be worn for a maximum of 2 games. I would very much expect that the Monday night game they have on October 28th with the Steelers, well, actually, maybe not. No, they probably can't lose against the Steelers because that game's in Pittsburgh. The Thursday night game on September 26th against the Cowboys, I'll feel pretty confident saying that they'll wear those uniforms for that game.
It would be better to wear those type of uniforms versus a yeah, first one of their, division games
I
opponents,
mean,
Eagles.
yeah, I mean, well, like it's obviously Dallas is, so yeah.
It was funny. We were talking about. Jill was asking me about football, and she's like asking me about like these guys that are getting signed and that, and she's like, "Man, these guys are getting signed for all this money, and they're brand new and they're rookies." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, it's a rookie contract. They're contingent. They're contingent contracts. They're not necessarily all guaranteed money.
They
You
also
know,
used to be much worse. So
Yeah.
And uh, I said because they could get cut. Like, there's no guarantee that they make the team. Like, there's certain guys you can pretty much say, yeah, this guy will be on the team. He might be the backup, but he'll probably make the team. But there's like the fourth and fifth rounders and stuff like that that get drafted, and they're like, okay, we're gonna see what you can do. Maybe you can make the team. But I said they cut the team down to what is it, 53, right? 53 is the main roster, and then everybody
Yep.
else either gets cut completely or they go down to what is considered the practice squad. Where they
Yeah.
keep you on, but you practice and then somebody gets injured, you might be brought up, or if you do really good, maybe you get brought up for a game or two. I said, but there are some guys that don't make it out of training camp. Like, they legit get cut, and
Yep.
if they were a rookie, whatever money they got is no longer their money. Like, that contract's null and void now, because it's contingent on them actually making a team, getting all that full paycheck. you know, and guarantee any
Yeah.
guaranteed money. So she's like, really? That's crazy. So they're not guaranteed a spot on the team. I said, nope, they are not.
No, they're really not.
NFL contracts are non-guaranteed,
Yep.
not like baseball, or I think basketball has guaranteed contracts too.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, she was very surprised to hear that because all these guys get so. She's like, because she was watching the NFL. Was it the end? Yeah, she was watching the NFL draft. I don't know why. Oh, I know. Well, no, I don't know why. I don't know why she was tuning into the NFL draft. She just happened to catch. Oh, you know what? She saw it on. She was catching it on TikTok. I think there was something that a celebrity or somebody that she happened to watch, and then she started getting a whole bunch of NFL like draft TikToks. I forget
Hmm.
what the
Gotcha.
circumstance was behind. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, that's
The social media algorithms, man. I'll tell you.
listen, it is what it is, and it's it to be working because that's what people are clicking on. So definitely so.
Click or be clicking.
Yep. Swipe or no swiping, click or be clicking.
Swipe or no swipe. All right. So, since you
Yes.
brought it up before we came on and I had a good laugh about it, I think it's
Yes.
important. I think this would be a fun topic to start off with in regards to talking about any kind of wrestling. And since we've been going for only about almost about 45 minutes now. Oh, I put Pat to sleep. Sorry, Pat.
Bum, bum, bum.
I mean, we could talk about baseball. We could dive into baseball first. We can talk about baseball.
Nah,
I mean,
Phillies are
the
on a
Yankees are
tear.
crushing the White Sox, so you should be happy. You're getting some easy wins off that team.
I didn't get to see today's game, so I saw the
Didn't you?
highlights when I got to my
That was like
parents'
a
house.
7-1 or something like that.
6-1.
Still,
He knew he knew what the score was.
Yeah, I saw the highlights when I got to my parents' house. I said I just didn't get to see the game live. I was at the movies at the time.
yeah, yeah, 6-1. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Well, right now the Phillies are 33 and 14 with the best record in baseball. I don't know how that is.
And
How I
every
pulled that
single
one off.
Phillies fan knows that they will still lose.
When I saw that, I was like, "What? Like the Phillies are the best team in baseball right now?" I'm like, "That how's that possible? They started off like shit,
I'm not
like
even sure. I haven't looked at their numbers that closely, so I'm not sure
like
how they're doing.
literal shit." Um, yeah. Right now, let's see. Let's go to the Phillies. Let's see if yeah, it doesn't give me what I'm looking for. I was hoping for like stats or something, but that did not give me stats. Okay. That wasn't helpful. All right, so let's dive into the wonderful world of wrestling since nobody wants to talk baseball, or doesn't seem to be interested in talking baseball. And Joe, our good friend Joe here, he brought up a really interesting topic because, as most wrestling fans know, the Jordan, what is it, Jordan 13s, I think it was, right? The Jordan 13s dropped, or the 12s, sorry.
they would be dropping spring of next year.
Spring of next year, the Jordan 12s drop, and they are going to be they're
Roman,
calling them the bloodlines, but I think they're just the
the
aren't
Roman
they
Reigns is
right? But aren't they similar? Aren't they the same colorway as a sneaker that he wore in a game?
the flu
Was it?
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're a little different. A little different. Like those had red soles and a red side that went to the front and the red strap on the back that goes up it. This is they are all it's all black and it looks like two different textures of material and there's some red on the side and they still have the red going up the back of the shoe, but the eyelets on the top are like chrome red. Looks like they put some chrome into the chrome red into the sneaker.
okay,
But I mean it's very simple, but it's probably something I might get next year in spring. It's uh it's going to be interesting to
yeah,
see when he Roman Reigns comes back and he'll get his own shoes sooner than that, and he'll be rocking those Bloodline 12s. Um,
yeah.
in matches probably.
Yes. So, and speaking about the topic that we are talking about now, as we're diving into this, is I just saw a commercial for this too because I have a AEW Collision on my phone playing, and didn't I see a commercial for the awe-inspiring Super Kick Party Deweys, the Reebok pump that the AEW Young Bucks are going to have dropping here in 8 days, technically nine, I guess.
Yeah.
So I want to share the wonderful artwork for those that where is, yep, I just want to share that.
I
Share
just had a
what?
very strange thought.
You had a strange thought you're thinking? Don't do it.
Uh-oh, you're
Don't
just
think.
exposing your family to the internet.
So here is a wonderful picture of the Young Bucks Reebok pump. Now, I think it's cool that they are getting a sneaker. That's cool. You know, for anybody who, regardless wrestling or whatever, anybody, somebody
Especially in
that,
wrestling, because this
yes,
is new for wrestling.
yeah. So you got a main wrestler in WWE getting a shoe. You have the Young Bucks who are getting a shoe. So that is cool just in its own right. But here's where I have to kind of diss them. And I look at the shoe and it looks cool. I like the colors. It's not something that I would particularly wear just because I don't wear that style of shoe. I'm very plain Joe when it comes to. Sorry, Joe.
No, you're
Instead
playing
of a plain
Jared.
Jane, you're a plain Joe. I
You're
get it.
playing
Yeah.
Jeremy.
So I'm very plain when it comes to my sneakers. I don't like too many colors because I worry too much about trying to match my sneakers with my outfits. So I usually go with either a black or a white shoe, or maybe a mixture of the black and white. That's my
He goes a little gray there, Pat. That's what he does.
yeah. I get a little gray in there.
Pure
Um,
salt and pepper in my
Sometimes
shoes.
it's 70-30 black to white. Sometimes it's 40-60.
so but so these shoes don't appeal to me as far as like the colors and stuff like that. I think they're cool looking, but
I think they
if you're
look
going
rather
to get a
silly.
sneaker deal with somebody, why Reebok? Like, why are you going with Reebok? Reebok has not had any significant. I mean, I'm not a sneakerhead, so I can't say like old sneakers they don't. You know, they did back in the day. Like they had the AIs and they had the Barclays and they had and they tried to bring those back every once in a while. But if you look at those shoes now, you're like, holy shit, that's a brick of a shoe. Like that shoe was huge. Especially if you look at the AIs. The AIs were clunky as hell. Like I don't know how anybody played basketball on those shoes. Um, but they don't have anybody that I can think of off the top of my head because that means they're probably insignificant in the world of like sports and being notable athletes that they have signed for any kind of major sneaker deal. Like I can't think of an NBA person. I can't think anybody in the NFL that might have a sneaker. I can't. So if you're going to tie yourself to a shoe company, wouldn't you want to pick one that's more popular of a brand that can brand you better and maybe make you more significant in the shoe game? Because isn't that what you're trying to do is sell shoes, especially if they're a signature shoe? Like the only people I see buying these, and this is not to discredit the Young Bucks in any way, is Young Bucks fans, like diehard wrestling fans, are going to be the only ones that buy these. These are not going to be people out of the blue. You might have some random people pick them up just because of the colors and stuff like that. They like the colorway and that. But other than the random people and your diehard fans, these are not going to reach, in my personal opinion, this is not a shoe that reaches out to people and says, ooh, I should get those Reebok pumps.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's oh, I forgot it. Oh, I forgot about him. And this is sad. So Justin Fields actually has a Reebok contract for his signature athlete. I don't think he has his own specific shoe, but he has some Justin Fields Reebok apparel. I forgot about that. That's wow, jeez. Um, yeah, Reebok is like I said, Reebok has a thing with um UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they still have their thing with UFC. Oh, and I didn't know this. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Angel Reese makes WNBA debut showcasing her new Reebok Solution PE sneaker. Okay. I did not know that either. So
And
I'm
that's
just
cool. But
what it
once
is.
again, Angel Reese is brand new to WNBA. She is a was a huge college star, and she brought a lot of light to the women's college game, which is great. I can appreciate that because there needs to be some light shined on the women's college basketball, which should translate to women's professional basketball. But she's not.
I feel
I
like
don't know
Reebok
how
is
much they're
trying
really
to
going to sell shoes off of the Angel Reese name.
yeah, I feel like Reebok is trying to rebrand itself too. Um, in regards to it. They make a very good shoe that gets a lot of good ratings for like weightlifters, like workout shoes in that manner in
Hmm.
regards to that. So eh, they definitely like I'm on their website now because I'm kind of curious. I can't tell you when the last time I was on Reebok's website. When we go to the outlets and whatnot, I'll rock into a Reebok outlet and just kind of see what's going on. They have some interesting stuff. Nothing that I would specifically wear really, to be honest. But their website, it looks like they got a lot of classics on here. They're rocking the pumps. Um, they got some stuff here. I'm gonna click on the women's and see what we got here for the women's stuff. I'm just kind of curious if they're like tagging, pictures of somebody specific on here. But I mean, they have some cool looking stuff. Oh, the Shack Attacks are on here. Oh boy. Here's some AI.
Once again, another big bulky shoe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wish I can see on the website like who their athletes are. You know what I mean? I don't know if
Hmm.
they have that on here. I might have to go to Wikipedia for that. But yeah, like there's some cool stuff, but I feel like some retro stuff and some new stuff. Some of the new stuff for to me, I wouldn't be wearing. But I mean, listen, if it's something that's going to get Reebok some some more people coming in to buying their product. Like, listen, there was a lot of diehard Justin Fields fans. There probably still are. There's probably Pittsburgh fans who are going to become Justin Fields fans. So, they might, get some Reebok stuff in regards to that. You never know. So, and Angel Reese, she has a big following. So if she's rocking those Reeboks, those girls are going to rock those Reeboks. So, you'll have a small influx of sales based off them. But it's then at that point, what are you going to do for that specific athlete to increase their brand while also making your company more money? I guess in regards to that. So
So here's an NBA guy, Montrezl Harrell or Harrell.
it might be
He's the
Harold.
only guy that I'm seeing that's NBA that's on here. Lexi Brown is a WNBA athlete, but yeah, they just if they're trying to rebrand and get more people involved, that's great.
Kind of like Puma. No, no, not Puma. Skechers. Is it Skechers?
What about?
Skechers has their own basketball shoe now, and there's a
Yes, I did
dude.
hear about that.
Um, One of them plays for Pat's team. He rocks. He's one of the athletes for them. And there's another NBA athlete that's um an athlete for Skechers now and wears the other branded basketball sneaker. So they have Skechers has like two types. They have like a high top for more like power forward centers type of sneaker, and they have another sneaker that's lower for guards and point guards and shooting forwards and all that stuff, more
Yeah,
for a
they
faster sneaker and
and a
whatnot.
lot of some NBA guys are going out and starting their own shoes. Like they're
Hmm.
branding their own shoes. Like they're getting these independent companies, and they, like I think Austin Reeves, he Austin Rivers, not is it Austin Reeves or Austin Rivers? Jesus, they're
The
the
white guy who plays for the Lakers, or the one that's the kid's coach.
it's
The
the.
co the,
Let me just. I got to look it up. Give me one moment. I'll let you know because they're the AR ones. Austin Reeves.
okay, so that's a dude from the Lakers then.
Yeah, he's got his own shoe. They're the AR ones. They're
Okay,
Rigorer AR1. I don't know if that's the name of the shoe company, the Rigorer.
it could be.
But that's the other thing. Like some of these guys aren't even going with like your traditional brands. Like there's these new shoe brands out there.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
and I don't know if this is his own shoe company or if this is because they only have his shoe. That's the only shoe they have is the Austin Reeve.
I mean,
It
it could
looks
be. It
like.
could be. And you got to think too, Reebok made a shit ton of money when it was part of the NHL too.
Here, I'll show you this. These shoes are. There's a guy that I follow on TikTok that's a trainer and trains NBA guys and college guys. Um, and he has nothing but good things to say about these shoes, and they're not even super expensive. They're legitimately relatively cheap considering the price of most shoes anymore. But I'll tell you what, even I like some of these colors and stuff like some of these designs. They're all low tops, but you got like the Lakers colors here, these ones.
Interesting.
You got these ones just came out. Dude, it's a golf inspired colorway.
$100 ain't bad either, you know?
No. His most expensive shoe is I think 140,
That's pretty
and that's
decent.
only because it comes with a special box, which is kind of funny.
So I'm looking at Reebok's the Wikipedia page and I forgot they got purchased by Adidas,
That would make sense why they're probably getting rebranded.
but like years ago.
Wait, what was that?
Interesting.
What were you just saying about Reebok and Adidas?
Look
That
at that. That's cool.
Adidas purchased Reebok.
Yeah, and then they sold them 2 years ago.
Oh, who they sell to? It doesn't say that.
Uh, Hold on, I had it up.
But what do you think about that, Joe? That green that shoe,
I don't I'm not a green guy overall, but that actually looks pretty cool to be honest.
and like this is like felt, like this the tongue here. That's like a
Hmm.
felt feeling, like it's
Now, I,
furry.
I'm that actually looks pretty cool. What's the reviews on those sneakers?
They've gotten pretty good reviews as far as I know. But yeah, it's let's see. Let's see if we can find some reviews.
While he's
I'm
doing that, Adidas sold Reebok to Authentic Brands Group LLC.
Authentic Brands Group.
They're owned by a couple of hedge funds, like everything is today. They also own Aeropostale, Brooks Brothers, Eddie Bauer, Forever 21, Nautica, Rockport, a few other.
Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, yeah, I
They
do.
also have likeness rights to the estates of Muhammad Ali, Elvis Presley, and Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, Authentic Brands. The realty outside, I knew. Yeah, I'm familiar that they own a couple of those. So they were bought out by like a retail, you know, company, really. So we'll see. That's interesting. We'll see what they make happens to them. Reebok probably makes more money overseas than they do in the US either too. You never know.
I think they do.
All right, let's see
So
here. Overall grade a B. Ooh, interesting. This is an interesting review right here. Pros and cons. See too many. Oh, there's only two cons. Okay, let's see.
They also own
Inflexible.
Sports Illustrated up until that whole thing went down earlier this year.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Inflexible midsole fails to bend naturally at the toe joint even after considerable break-ins. As a result, some users even reported heel slippage. Well, tie your sneaker properly, that won't happen. Overlay thick overlay thick insoles leads to a reduced sense of court feel. Swapping out more practical insoles may require choosing a different size. Traction performance and toe top tier or close to reportedly even handles dusty courts very well. Well, that's good.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that trainer, his name, he goes by Coach P. He said like super good traction, very the being able to side, stick, being able to stop on a time, all those things are really good, and it feels good. It's a good feeling shoe, like all those things. Like that guy has nothing but good things to say about them, and he's just the colors that the guy's coming out that the company's putting out for him. I mean, the company has so many colorways for
Looks like
this
saw
shoe.
looks like I saw Jimmy Fredette was their previous marketing athlete. Ooh, scroll down a little bit. I saw a color that caught my eye.
With that,
No, no,
like,
no, no. Keep going.
uh,
Keep scrolling down. Well, now your screen's frozen on my end, so I'm not sure.
uh, here I'll go back up. I'll go up to the top here where the colors start.
And let me do this. Let me rock. Let me stop right there. The one that says sale 85.99. They have
85.99.
pink. Yeah, your thing
Oh,
keeps. They like the pink.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what these ones are.
I'm gonna pull up that website. All right, G. Let's see.
It's
Let's
taking a
see.
while to
Oh,
pull up.
Jesus Christ.
What do you
Do
have
they
to
have
do with it?
uniforms too? That's cool.
Yeah, it's the War Ender 1 Pro. I don't know whose sneaker that is. It sounds like it's just a generic sneaker. It's not like any particular person's sneaker. But
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
kind of
that's kind of crazy though, that shoe.
I'm pulling up the website now, kind of see what they got here. Yeah, that one caught my eye. Oh, he has another. Well, that's interesting. Looks like he has a low top and a mid as well, because the mids are originally 135. Not gonna lie, these are pretty dope. Seriously.
That's like even I was interested. I'm not a low top sneaker guy, but I'm like if these shoes are as good as they are, that would be, could be my next basketball shoe, you know.
Get a pair of those and rock those to practice.
Yeah.
Kids be like, "Yo, coach, what do you wear?" And be like, "Watch this."
As I snap my knee because there's too much stick, I'm like, oh god. Oh, coach, you okay?
I'm good. Don't worry. Yeah, there's the mids are pretty cool too. Huh. Not gonna lie, these are pretty dope. They have their own
Uh,
sandals on here too that look funky as hell. I don't know if I'd rock those, but
the other shoe that this guy is really hype about is the Way of Wade's. The Way of Wade's tens and the Way of Wade's Lightning, which is his
yeah, those
lower
those are
end shoe.
yeah, those are the D Wades that he
Yeah,
with that's a Chinese company, I think.
yeah.
Oh,
But
I
that's
found
another one. The Way of Wade's though, the tens, those are over $200. I ain't spending no $200 on a basketball shoe, especially when I'm not playing like that. So,
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
but the Lightnings, which is the his cheaper commercial shoe, that's only 100 or 110, and
Oh, that's not bad.
that's got a lot of good reviews too. So,
I know D Wade spent like a year um with that company creating that sneaker for
yeah.
him.
Well, I mean, if I look at it like this, if you're gonna put a sneaker out, okay, and this goes, for the Bucks sneaker, they evidently put a lot of time into designing, the colors and what they wanted to look like. If you're
Yeah,
gonna put out a shoe, put out something that's good. Like especially if you're putting out a basketball shoe. There are so many companies like Nike puts out terrible basketball shoes anymore. Like most people do not rock a Nike basketball shoe. Um, because they have terrible traction, they have terrible midsoles, like they're just not good shoes overall. Now I have a pair, I have the KD something, I forget what they are, and I like those. But it's not like it used to be, like where Nike dominated. There's all these other companies out there because they're putting the time and technology into making sure you're getting a shoe that's got a good outsole for sticking to the court, good midsole so it's comfortable.
yep.
There's just so much that goes into a good basketball shoe. It's not just like your average everyday shoe. It's got to hold up, and especially for the price that they're charging for shoes now. You can't expect someone to drop 150 on a shoe and it feel like shit and slip all over the place.
I know one of the brands they have like it's called it's the GT and the GT2. It's a high top and a mid, and I think they have a low. There's three different types, and each one's made for like different types of players, like your playing style. I've heard those have good reviews for basketball shoes, but like I got reviews at a lot of other Nike basketball sneakers, and they're like 3.4, 3.7, barely hitting 4 stars. Just just and like you said, a lot of the issues is like the sole, the shoes, and the comfort. And the other thing with Nike, they decided to do this where they're the front of the shoe is people complain about how narrow it is and how tight, you know, and they struggle playing because it's so tight. It hurts their feet after a while, and they loosen the laces, but then they got to tighten them up top. And you want to make sure your laces are good from front, bottom to top. You can't be loosening that so your feet have some movement and feel restricted. So yeah, they've screwed around a little bit too much with their basketball sneakers for sure.
Right, and that's the one thing I like about the KDs that I have. It actually has a wide toe box. Like your foot is not crunched in there and uncomfortable.
Yep, and that's the part that Nike's just they kind of kicked the bucket with that one, if you want to put in those terms. But yeah,
So
you know, I don't play ball like that anymore, so I'm gonna worry about that shit. I just wear my shoes for style. I wear my sneakers for style these days, so it's all good. Which kind of stinks, man, because it'd be nice to rock some good basketball sneakers.
Anyway, something I was thinking about back at the beginning of this segment when you refer to them as like the super kick party shoes or whatever.
Yeah, they gotta pump it up before they do the super kick now.
Yeah, well, for whatever reason, it triggered in my mind the memory of a Smash Mouth song.
Ooh, a smash mouth.
That was called Pacific Coast Party.
I
Um,
don't remember that one.
yeah, the only reason I remember it is I think it played on one of the promo loops when I was working at Circuit City in like 2002 or whatever the hell it was.
Oh no.
Well, no, no, no.
Those
I'm just
terrible
thinking.
promo loops where you'd hear the same song in a 4 hour shift. You hear the same song 6 times.
Well, that one at least had a bit of a groove and was just easy to fun and dismiss. It wasn't like
But still,
there was like a Martina McBride song around that time, which was annoying as fuck. There was a shit. What was the one? There was the one Pink song which I despised. The "I'm Coming Out" song. Like you know, I just I kind of say that.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The worst was with fucking Aaron Carter song.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah,
we
God.
every
can't say
time
anything about Aaron Carter.
every time that came on, I would run to the machine and click the thing to advance it to the next.
That's
Anyway, so my whole
the
point
only bad
was,
thing you can say about Aaron Carter.
well, don't tell Hulk Hogan about him. I mean, um, I was just thinking Pacific Coast Party, Super Kick Party, almost the same number of syllables. I think maybe now I should try to write a parody song called Super Kick Party to the tune of that song.
If you do, I
You
will be
should
more
do
happy.
that.
I would love for you to sing it. If you don't want to sing it, maybe Joe or I can sing it for you.
I'll warm up these vocal cords just for that.
We need to find like an instrumental version of the song so I could then, kind of like try to do the words over top, but
Drop the beat and we will take it on.
ow.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry,
slap
Acclaimed. You've
yourself.
been demoted to Collision.
Who?
The Acclaimed.
I think they've been mostly on Collision anymore.
Like I said, they've been
I think
demoted.
so.
It's not necessarily a demotion. I mean,
That's right.
some
All
of the
their shows are
people,
about the same level. The's no
yeah,
really
I was gonna say,
career.
well, some of the people, and some of the people that they routinely run on Dynamite, it's like, well, like who the hell was it I saw they booked Danielson in a match with for next week's Dynamite, and
Everybody and anybody.
I was just like,
You're gonna get to see the
why?
is it the Indian Giant? Is that what they call him? The
Oh
Arabian
yeah,
Giant? The
yeah, he's
Arabian
wrestling.
Giant.
He's gonna wrestle fucking Satnam Singh or Santam Singh, whatever the fuck his name is. I
Are
don't
you
really
fucking
care.
kidding me?
Yeah,
That's who he's
Danielson's.
wrestling.
It's like
Yep,
number one, when
Danielson's
was the
wrestling
last
him.
time he was on Dynamite? And number two, really?
Got to give him airtime.
And number three, really? It just seems like the dumb. But
Danielson can
again,
put him over. Anybody can have a good match with Danielson.
well, yeah, I'm sure that's what they're thinking. The question, of course, is why have you determined that now is the time for him to have a good match against somebody when, like I said, I don't remember last goddamn time he was on Dynamite.
Well, the good thing we got to see is the only good thing that came out of that is we did get to see a Sanjay Dutt promo, introducing that match. That was about the only good thing that came out of that.
I I I don't know. Again, Tony Khan looks like an idiot, so we shouldn't be surprised.
That is so interesting.
And John Moxley's going to be in the house too, so that was a big important announcement for that night.
Is he gonna bleed?
Oh, yay.
Look,
I'm
okay, I know people. He doesn't bleed all the time anymore. That's not the point.
The point is he's done it too much.
The point is that he's done it enough that every canvas in the world is still stained with it.
I am just tired of the
And
um
and
how
here's
do I want to
here's
say
actually
this?
also an interesting question. What title means more in AEW right now? The AEW World Title or the IWGP title?
Well, not the
Apparently the
world title because I haven't
IWGP
even heard
title.
about. Yeah, because I haven't heard about Swerve like really defending it against anybody or them even really talk about it.
Well, basically, Swerve's just been booked to look like a goddamn idiot almost every single week since he won the title.
Yeah, they're doing a hard job. A hard job. They're doing a horrible job with his booking. I don't like it at all. It's fucking horrendous to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's not, and I'll say this: we're not here for AEW to book things that we like, but at least should make logical sense. Like,
Smart booking.
like
That's all we're asking
at this
for.
point in time, it doesn't make sense. Whether we like it or not, it should at least make sense. There's no
Yeah, and
sense, no rhyme, no reason to what they're doing right now.
When it comes to AEW's booking, this is Chewbacca. This does not make sense.
it's
Never forget the
fucking
Chewbacca defense.
frustrating. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, it's just.
Right now, we got Brian Cage taking on one of the people from Acclaimed.
Like, I mean,
Brian Cage is a freaking animal.
He is. He is.
Dude's
He is one big son bitch. That's what I'm.
oh yeah, he's an animal, all right.
There's a guy that I feel they started to push him, and then they stopped, like an abrupt stop. Like you stopped hearing
Well,
about Brian Cage.
yeah, again, that's pretty much what they do all the time. It's always like start and stop booking with pretty much everybody.
Because what I've seen when I first saw him, I'm like, oh, well, here's a big zombie, just another big guy. But then I saw him wrestle. He's good in the
Yeah,
ring. He
he
he has
can.
solid matches. He's athletic, and he's not terrible on the mic. Like, he's not the greatest,
No.
Who?
but he's not terrible.
Ryan Cage.
Who?
Brian Cage.
Yeah.
Oh, Mavericks won the series. Damn.
Oh, they came back and won. Not bad.
Yep, 117, 116.
Brian Cage is a roid monster. That's all he is.
Well, it's your
I've
opinion.
seen
You're
him have
entitled to it.
I've seen him have a lot of good matches.
This match has been pretty decent.
Wish I could say I've seen one, but every time I see him, it's pretty much just.
And
I'm
that's the
tired of seeing
problem. A lot of the
these.
stuff you're seeing is AEW, which they haven't booked him well. So it sucks. They put him in shit situations. His best matches have been outside AEW.
I mean,
Like I
if
said,
you
this match right
figure
now
it's,
against the guy from Acclaimed is pretty decent.
let's just. I mean, hold on. Where is it? One sec. I'll find it.
I'm
Oh,
really sick of seeing these commercials with Monet in them because like they're freaking terrible. Like because she can't even wrestle right now.
here we go. Regarding this weekend's TBS Championship match between Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano at Stardom Flashing Champions, President Taro Okada said he wanted to book the match sometime after AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view, but AEW insisted that it happen now. Gee, I wonder why.
I'm not following you. You'll have to spell it out for me so I'm not.
Read it again for him. He'll catch on.
Regarding this weekend's TBS Championship match between Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano at Stardom, President Taro Okada said he wanted to book the match sometime after AEW's Double or Nothing pay per view, but AEW insisted it happen now. Gee, I wonder why.
Yes or no?
Nope. It's not
She's
clicking.
defending the title next Saturday against Monet. So
Oh,
they wanted her to do it. So they're like, no, do it now. Hence, she's probably losing the
dropping the
title
title to. Yeah.
Monet on Saturday. Yeah.
All right, now it makes sense. I didn't realize that's who she was wrestling, or that
Yeah.
she had that match lined up.
Yeah.
That's my lack of knowing what's going on in the wrestling world besides certain things. So
Oh,
It's all
I
good.
mean, I unfortunately could not hear, didn't have the sound on when Willow and Mercedes were in the ring towards the end of the show the other night. It looked like she was cutting the promo with at least a little bit of fire.
She was. I listened to it.
Um, but yeah, it was like unfortunately my dad took like shows like that moment or like a little while before that to finally call me back after I was waiting for him to call me back for like 3 hours on fucking Wednesday night. So I couldn't hear it.
damn you, Dad.
But it's like Mercedes is really supposed to be the heel in this, but they're not really booking it that way. And the fact that when we can all go and watch the footage of Mercedes breaking her ankle, and it's because she just fucking slipped off the turnbuckle and fell. Willow didn't touch her. And the announcers keep saying about, oh, Mercedes is thinking that Willow intentionally hurt her. Okay, two things about that. They're saying that like seriously as if that's legitimately what happened, not that they're saying that it's like in the twisted mind of the heel wrestler and everything.
Yes.
And the
So
thing, go ahead.
yeah, so I was just gonna say, so it's dumb, and it's like I'm sure they're gonna probably give us some kind of the whole face heel thing doesn't really matter. Yes, it does, because when you don't delineate it well, this is the shit you get. The audience doesn't really know who to cheer for. Sasha's
Yeah.
character is still a fucking heel. I just realized I've been calling her Mercedes and Sasha back and forth. I don't care. You got to
All
keep
in the
up.
same.
You got to keep up with me. I don't got to keep up with you.
CEO, the CEO, the CEO. So dumb.
Thank you. I'm glad you clarified that. Otherwise, I was going to drive to Northampton to punch you in the face. Um, but yeah, it's just like you get this wishy-washy shit where it's like, and then it's like, I think Mercedes threw the first punch at Willow, but then Willow ends up power bombing her through the goddamn table, which is not something you typically see a face do to a heel at these things either. So it's too freaking. She's a heel, she's a face. Oh no! It's reversed. You know, they change
They're
positions
doing the
within
switch on
one
us before
fucking.
the match even happens.
They change positions within the course of one segment, and then they change back. It's
Yeah.
No, I want to be on top. No, I'm on top. Nope,
I mean,
I'm on top.
and all due respect to our friend in Ohio, because I have these I wouldn't call them heated discussions. We just kind of disagree about this stuff back and forth. But I am of the opinion that you need to have a clearly delineated face and a clearly delineated heel, because otherwise then you lose the audience. And I know that's not his concern. He's gonna like what he likes and everything like that. But
As
again,
long as it's a good match, that's all that matters.
well,
Well, how do you want the
but
crowd
but
to
but
react to this match? That's the
that's
problem.
but that's not true, and we've seen that time and time again. I'm sure I could find plenty of instances where somebody had a really good match, but because nobody was watching, nobody gave a rat's ass. You
Yeah.
know?
So for me, if when you're talking about title matches that could result in a in a change of the guard, who's got the title, who's going to win, I agree. There definitely should be a clear cut. This is the heel. This is your face, because it's supposed to be that struggle between the natural order of things in wrestling is that struggle between good and bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a title change if it's a title match where, okay, the face title holder wants to give somebody that they feel is like earned a title shot, but in all actuality, you're like, it's not going to change, then the face matches make sense.
Good example of that
And
I would say would be John Cena, Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam that one year.
right, it
Yeah.
made sense. You earned it, man. I'm going to give it to you. Um, but the thing that sometimes comes out of that, which makes it really interesting, is the face that was given the shot turns into a heel either during the match or at the end of the match. Not every time, but sometimes.
Well, the crowd can
Because
dictate
then
it.
it could, right, sometimes the crowd can dictate it, and then it turns into a feud.
Yeah, and they just did that with Sami Zayn and Chad Gable.
Yep.
So
Simple.
Yeah.
The
There's
other,
certain times where where it makes sense to do face if you have something to build off, if you plan on building off of something, like if there's an intent behind it. But when you're having a storyline, a pre-made storyline to say, okay, this is what we want to happen, then you should have, in my personal opinion, you should have a clear heel, clear face.
yeah,
and
I
the thing
mean,
about the injury part too, what drives me crazy with their narrative is one, I watched that pay-per-view live when it was going on and saw the whole thing. But that was that video clip was posted on social media within 5 hours after that pay-per-view, showing the specific situation where she got injured. So it doesn't make a difference. The hardcore fans know the truth about that weird narrative that they're listening to on TV. And it's on the internet. So it's kind of when I hear people say, well, the general fans don't know. Well, the general fans can sit there and look on their goddamn phones as they're watching the TV, type in, Google that shit, and they're going to see what really fucking happened.
mhm.
Well,
So,
that just
general fans are not. General fans are smart enough to hop on their little phones and type into Google to find out what really happened because they want to know, because they're going to want to see, oh, what did Willa really do to Mercedes, and find out, yeah, she didn't do shit.
and it's one of those
But
things
that's the
like
other thing too. I'm sorry, Jeremy. That you just kind of pointed out. The casual fans don't know. The hardcore fans do know. Right. Only the hardcore fans are watching AEW. There are
Yeah.
no casual AEW fans.
Well, very
And
little, I would think.
I would say I'm a casual AEW fan.
I
But
would say I'm a casual AEW watcher.
but it's if you think about this too, like
Mm.
who's telling the announcers that they have to hype it up like this? Who's the person in control of that? That's Tony. That's
Hmm.
Tony going saying, "Listen, she got injured. We got to play it up as Monet possibly intentionally hurt her, and then we're gonna play." Like you got to be honest with your audience. If they already know it, just come out and say, you know, an unfortunate thing happened to Mercedes Monet. She was injured during a wrestling match. You know, once she's healthy, she will get her title shot. Like she should have came back and came with that as the return. Like, hey, you got me. I got injured during the match, but I'm gonna come back, and as soon as I'm healthy, I'm coming back for that title. Like that's a good story angle. Instead of trying to play up the BS of what everybody knows is not true. Like there's no
And
way
the
to circumnavigate that.
Yeah,
and the
and
promos have been weird from both. Willow's good on the mic. I think she is. Um, but just the her promos have been good, but it's just like the flow between the chemistry in their promos back and forth. Just don't do it for me. Not as bad as Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, so that whole shit show that happened,
yeah.
but it's just not flowing for me. And the
Well,
thing about it is, if they brought her Mercedes back at the Boston show, that's fine. Then she should have, you know, came back, did her little speech, and just show her in the crowd or show her in the back watching TV, maybe one vignette, but don't like really bring her back until 2 weeks before the pay-per-view, maybe three, to kind of start setting that up that she's coming after Willow for that title. And then kind of do a 3 week thing with them. If you're gonna shortchange it because of the injury, because Mercedes promos and everything has just been so lackluster. Like it's not grabbing anybody. That's for damn sure.
I'll say this: bringing her back at the Boston show, stupid, stupid, stupid. Because that was what 2 months ago now. She
Hmm.
wasn't cleared to wrestle. He doesn't think beyond this week because you're trying to just get a, an attendance boost and ratings pop because you happen to be in that town. But you're also doing this around the same time you're bringing Osprey and Okada in and every other damn thing. So it's just it was pointless. They should have just committed to saying, okay, we're going to bring you back so you can get your revenge on Willow because she took your title, you know, and you got her, you know, that was like a side effect kind of thing. But have her do it completely as a heel. But you don't do that until maybe like 3 weeks ago. So then you have some time to actually build to the match and you have it clearly delineated as far as who's the face and who's the heel in this circumstance.
Yeah.
And that would have been so much better and that would have been so much better received. But yeah, I mean, it's like she just seems to have forgotten how to cut a fucking promo. And again, maybe my memory is bad. I never remember anybody claiming that she was a bad promo in WWE. Maybe again, I'm just misremembering things. But
No, she wasn't a bad promo. She had a couple that weren't great,
yeah,
but
but
it
it's
was
just like
nothing that was everything like really bad.
yeah, but it's just like people who are telling me now, wow, she's never been the best promo. I've seen that comment several places. I'm like, yeah, I don't really remember you saying this then. So I think it's very hard to just become a horrible promo overnight, but maybe she's proving that it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the other thing, for her, and I think I brought this up before, the previous podcast. When you're in New Japan, you can pretty much say whatever you want. So you
Mm-hmm.
can use curse words freely, whatever the case may be, you know? So you could be more like evil per se, and if you're a heel and whatnot. So I heard some of her promos in Japan, not so great. A couple decent ones. But it's kind of like now you come back to the US and you got to cut US promos. So I just don't, there's something where it's just not clicking for her. Maybe after she wins the title, she gets more TV time. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to, right now, it's just not doing anything for me. Hopefully, in due time, you know, she kind of gets back to being her normal Mercedes promos in regards to that. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't remember her being a bad promo either. I wouldn't say she was one of the best promos that they had as far as the women go, but she definitely wasn't the worst. I would say she was probably about in the middle.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I thought
know
I
certain
thought
people
she
would
was
not
a bit.
agree with
She
me
was
with on this one. I would say she was probably around the lines of Becky, in her promo skills. Because Becky's not a terrible promo, but she's also not great either.
She has some good promos. She has some bad promos. Sometimes I feel like her voice betrays her, kind of. Like sometimes her voice doesn't convey like the right feeling and everything. She's like a little too high
Get lost
pitched.
in the accent.
It's not really so much about the accent. It's really more just about the voice gets a little too high pitched sometimes when she's trying to like. It's like the time where she needs to put some bass in her voice, as they say. It kind of goes the other way.
yeah. My like she's screeching her promo, not like talking it. Yeah. God, I thought about the other day because Mr. Ohio asked me who I thought the worst promo was. The four horsewoman, four horsewomen, I should say.
Well, I know
And
who
Well,
you
for a
would
long
say.
time it was Bailey for sure.
yes, 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 yes. And that's the thing. It's like for that, there was different parts where like it flip flopped, where I had Becky at the bottom, I had Bailey at the bottom for a long time because her face promos were just to me were not good. They were mediocre. Um, and I had Charlotte one, and then I would flip flop Sasha and Becky back and forth. When Becky was doing her man thing, like her and Charlotte were like tied for me,
Yeah.
because they were both doing good work. Um, but yeah, they've all gone back and forth. But right now, I don't know. I'd probably put it's still, even though Charlotte's out, if you want me to rank the four of them, it'd probably be Charlotte, Bailey, Becky, and Sasha. Mercedes would be last right now, unfortunately.
They're the same person, damn you.
I know. You know,
Oh yeah. At the very least, it's the same gimmick. So
Becky's stuff has been up and down. She's had some good stuff, she's had some bad stuff, but it's not where it's not where it has been consistently bad. She's had good moments and bad moments and some in betweens, you know? So it is what it is. But right now, Sasha's probably last. But yeah, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
It's time. Like even the good promos have some, duds or mediocres. Doesn't hit
Yeah.
hard, it hits pretty softly and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you can't come out with a banger every single week all the time. I had to throw it in there somewhere.
I'm
Nice.
going to hurt you.
I had to throw it in somewhere, and I felt a good spot right there. I started talking about the promo, so I'm like, I'm gonna drop the banger in here somewhere.
I'm not concerned about bangers. I'm just concerned about burger after burger after burger.
Oh shit.
Oh, what was I gonna say? I don't remember now. I don't remember anything.
You don't remember anything.
Oh no, I was thinking about the Buck segment then uh, from Wednesday night. How awkward it was.
It was awkward.
they fire Christopher Daniels, who's barely ever on TV. He's not a full time wrestler.
He
Why is
does
the
stuff in the back
why,
though.
why is the audience supposed to care? You know,
You're firing an OG.
and then when they
I didn't
get
even realize he was still on the AEW roster.
well, he does something behind the snes. I don't know if he's in like
Yeah, he
Turner
works behind the
Promotions
scenes.
or
That's
whatever.
that's
Yeah,
that's his main job.
yeah, but he's not relating to the talent very well. Uh, but it was deafening silence. Like the audience cannot be bothered to boo.
It was weird. There wasn't a lot of reaction from the fans. I mean, there was some, but it wasn't nothing overwhelming. I will say that.
Well, again, I mean, they're supposed to be doing like the ultra heel gimmick, and it's basically supposed to be on like the line of. I mean, everybody can say what they want, but they're basically just doing another variation of the NWO gimmick. That's just
Yes,
all there is to
absolutely.
it. That's why I
It,
sent you that little picture a few days ago.
there's
Yes, which I
moments
had a
where
good
I,
laugh.
yeah, it was funny. There's moments where I do pick up
Yeah,
NWO isms.
yeah, and the problem is that okay, they've got the power, and it's not because they've got Eric Bischoff in their pocket and everything like that. It's because they just say they have it, which is nonsensical in a lot of ways. But I mean, again, the biggest problem with this is that the NWO, the initial three guys, and then when they first added a member, it was the Giant.
Yep.
So you're looking at Hogan, Hall, Nash, and the Giant versus the Bucks, Jungle Jack, and Okada.
All
I'm
really
sensing
tiny people.
I'm sensing a difference in the physical capabilities of those two groups of four guys.
Yes, who's going to be intimidated by them besides the fact that they've got power to make matches?
Right. It's like
Nobody's physically intimidated by that.
it
Anybody on that team.
it's just become this whole thing where it's like, oh, don't cross them because they can do what they want. And it's like, yeah, fine, but it's like, no, and their whole thing is going to always have to be based upon like sneak attacks or just like abuse of power and all this other stuff, and that's fine. But it's like the NWO, yeah. If you look at like say like the first, let's say 4 or 5 months of the NWO, when they were out there wreaking havoc, they didn't always have to use weapons to do it. They did when it suited them, like when they were beating the guys with the bats backstage at the Disney MGM studios. But they didn't have to do that. Like there were other times where they just came out during matches and they just beat the hell out of everybody who was in the ring. Why? Because they could. The elite can't do that because none of them are capable of it. And of course, there's plenty of guys in AEW who aren't exactly physically imposing. But still, I don't think most of these guys would be worried about, oh shit, the Bucks are going to come out and beat my ass. If anybody's ever worried about that, then they're in the wrong line of work.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Even if you're trying to sell something like that's kind of hard to be afraid of those four.
Yeah.
I'd be
So,
afraid of Okada more than I would be afraid of the other three. That's for damn sure.
well, see, yeah, Okada has decent size, I suppose, for most
Oh,
people
I have
today and
lost
everything.
sound.
But I would always be thinking this in the back of my head. This guy's finisher is a short clothesline, otherwise known as a move that Jake the Snake used to set up for the DDT. I'm not fearing that.
I know. I get it.
So it just really, I don't know.
Understand.
I want it to work. I really truly do. But then of course, the other problem is that they again they decide they're going to do Anarchy in the arena. All right, fine. Then of course they decide they're going to do a barbed wire steel cage match on the same fucking show.
That,
No.
that makes sense.
Um, but FTR again still has the issue going on with the Bucks. Them being in the match, fine again, everything. Why are Danielson and Kingston all of a sudden in the match? Oh, then Kingston gets hurt, so we're putting Darby in the match. Why is Darby in the match though? Because he's there. It's like it just they have they have nothing to go off of too, and it's like they started to drop hints and everything with Swerve. He's called them out on the mic a couple of times, but that just has led
Hmm.
into this program with Christian, which Swerve's made it look like an idiot. So let's say Swerve beats Christian, I'm sure he will, and then they move on and everything. It's like okay, um, and then maybe they put Swerve opposing the Elite again.
Hmm.
What do they do? Do they have Swerve wrestle Okada? Because I'm not taking one of the Bucks or Perry seriously as fighting for the world title. So that's why I kind of actually have a feeling they probably won't. I don't get what he's trying to do sometimes. And they're always going to talk about Wembley this and Wembley that, and fine. What's your big
Yeah.
match for Wembley? It's 3 months away. What's your big match for Wembley? Is it Osprey against Swerve? Is it Osprey against somebody else? Who though? Kenny's not going to be back by then if he has to get his fucking surgery. Look how long Brock was out when he had that shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
just, I don't, I don't get it. I don't. So, a day or two ago, I saw a story about Natalia's contract that's coming up. And of
yep.
course, somebody in the comments had to say something about she could be a game changer for AEW.
Oh my God.
She could be a game changer in the back. That's it.
I have nothing against Natalia whatsoever, but it's not like she's been part of any major featured storyline in WWE for quite some time. But I just said there's literally only one thing that can possibly change the game for AEW at this point, and that's if Tony suddenly realizes that he needs to hire an actual booker. That's the only thing that will change the game for AEW. Anything else is just going to be putting a band-aid on a fucking, bleeding uh yeah. It's gonna be like putting like a band-aid on like, a wound to the fucking femoral artery.
Yep.
It's not gonna make a difference. You're still gonna bleed out. And I'm not saying the country. I'm not saying the company is in trouble.
They might be their own country.
Could be. I'm not saying the company's in trouble because I mean we don't know what's going on with the rights deal and everything, and whatever
They're
goes
supposed to
on.
be announced in WB's next meeting or wherever the fuck it is.
Well, I don't know. They had an upfront thing this past week and they didn't say anything definite because I think they still don't know what exactly is going on with the NBA, if they're definitely totally lost it at this point or what. But um, the company will keep going as long as Shad Khan is willing to keep pumping money into it.
Right. I mean, they've got at least, I'm hoping they're at least breaking even, you would think, but
Well,
who
by
knows?
all the best indications, they're not.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
The story that was out there from the WrestleNomics guy, um, the way he estimated was that they probably lost somewhere between 25 and $30 million last year.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, that is
pretty
a
sure that's
lot
what
of
it was.
money.
And that was mostly because they had one huge expenditure, and that was wrestler salaries. And again, I'm glad that guys are getting paid. Great, good for them. But they're getting paid to the detriment of the company in a lot of ways. It's like I'm glad these people are making money, but they're not earning it. I mean, again, if that story about Riho is true, that's just beyond ludicrous because supposedly she's had like visa issues and this and that, and it's like, okay, yeah, fine, great, good, great, and whatever. But she, I don't know what are the exact. I don't know exactly how many matches she worked for AEW last year. I'm too lazy to go look it up because I don't care that much either. But Cornette kept saying 15 matches. Let's just assume that's correct. It couldn't have been many more than that. And she's saying that she got paid what was the equivalent of $400,000 last year.
It's a lot of money for not a lot of work.
Exactly. It's like she didn't work enough to earn $100,000. So, and of course, they keep trying to insist that she's a ratings draw, and that's pretty much been shown to be a bunch of shit. So,
I don't
yeah,
know. We
it's
hear
just
that. I
they're
we hear that too often. This person's a ratings draw. Well, if that was true, then their ratings would go up and not down or stay stagnant.
the only people who I think over the last year and a half have actually proven to be ratings draws are a guy that's currently injured and a guy who, despite working for the other company, they're still trying to use to pop ratings.
Swerve
Uh,
would be a ratings boost, but who wants to tune in to see him do nothing?
Yeah, Swerve, I don't think you can say has been a ratings draw yet. I mean,
I'm not saying yet. I'm saying he probably could be.
yeah, no, yeah, he could and should be, but he hasn't been. Yeah, I
My
don't
biggest
think.
thing with a lot of what AEW is doing is they've done exactly what they said they wouldn't, and that's bringing old WWE guys.
Hmm. They
You
said they were going to give us sports-based wrestling, which they have
right.
not.
Um, so those two things go against them, and they have the what made them a draw in the beginning. What made people interested is being able to see these indie guys on TV on a regular basis that they couldn't before because they were wrestling in the ROH or they were wrestling on this program. And if you wanted to see that, you had to have a certain channel or you had to buy a pay per view or something like that. There was not the ease of access was not there. So that's what made those guys a draw when you did see them on TV. Like if they went to TNA and they went on TV there for like a month stint or something like that. That's what drove ratings for TNA that was on TV. Now you have these guys that are not hard to find, and I think what we're finding out is people like the Young Bucks, even though they do have their cult fans, people like the Young Bucks and people like give me some other names that were out there that people wanted to see that were so excited.
Omega.
Um, Omega. Yeah, as much as these guys are really good wrestlers, they're not guys that draw people in to say, I need to tune in to see what happens with this wrestler because they're going up against this wrestler. There's nothing driving people to tune into these guys because they're essentially seeing the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no development to characters, there's no development in really good storylines. Like it's just it's like floundering. Like you got fish floundering on the surface of the water, hoping to be able to dive deep, and they're just not able to. They don't know how to swim. It's like fish that don't know how to swim. That's probably a terrible analogy, but anyways,
I mean,
and
it
not
was
that
like you said,
WWE's done everything right all the time either,
well,
but
right, yeah. I mean, but it was like you also said, it was like people wanted to see these indie guys who they'd really just kind of heard about before, and then when people saw them, they turned it off. And the other thing that AEW had going for it was they were being seen as the non-evil empire, you know. But then that all changed on them because Vince is gone, and a presumably fan-friendly guy is running the show now in Triple H. And
mhm,
obviously, not everything that he's done has worked, you know, but it's like that Vince stink is gone.
yeah, and he did
So
build some. He's very good at building bridges that were burnt.
yeah,
You know,
but you just can't like say like like when he tries when he was making that when he was giving that insane interview where he was talking about how they're Pepsi and WWE's Harvey Weinstein, completely fucking mixing his metaphors and everything. It's like you can't
Yeah, it was so fucking stupid.
you can't go there anymore because Vince isn't with the company. So
Yep. Now you got a legitimate guy that fans have hated when he was the bad guy, loved when he's the good guy, and now love him as the COO or CCO or whatever his technical title is.
I think it's CCO, Chief Content Officer. Yeah.
So they love Triple H, and we don't know how the backstage goes. We don't know how those guys enjoy being, but you feel like the wrestlers respect Triple H because of the work that he's done and the time that he's put in the company, and the leader that he's been as a wrestler in the back, during his time there.
Yes, we know everybody respects Triple H except Will Ospreay.
Yes. um, so it's like you've got a very good company atmosphere from the outside looking in. You have a very good company atmosphere. You've got somebody that the fans know and like and respect. So it's like they are no longer, like you said, they're no longer the evil empire. They are just the big machine. Like they are the WWE machine,
Yeah.
and you're not going to stop it. You're not going to pull fans away from it. So you have to remember that this is your space in wrestling world, and you've got to work within that space to produce the best product possible for your fan base. And if you start producing a really good product, you will draw more fans in naturally. You don't have to do anything super crazy to do that, and you will build your brand and you'll build your company. Will you ever be as big as WWE? Probably not.
No,
But
it's
that's okay. You don't
impossible.
have to be.
Impossible. Yeah.
You don't have to be that. You just have to be your company and put out your best product possible, and it will continue to grow and continue to expand. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And
No,
and Tony
definitely.
Khan, though he said he was not going to do those things, has lost. I don't want to say he's lost his way, but it seems that way. Like he's lost his way and got
He's gone back on a lot
wrapped
of
into
things
this
that
delusional um, fight that doesn't exist with WWE.
yeah, he's gone back on a lot of things that he said he was not going to do. Um, he also he said he wasn't going to become an on-screen character. He's become one now by letting himself be attacked by the elite. He I mean, when he was starting to get the company off the ground, he read according to Cornette. So, but I don't really. Cornette usually doesn't make up shit about this, so I would tend to believe this. He said that Tony Khan reached out to him and was gauging his interest about possibly coming to work for him, or just like having any input or anything like that. And Cornette said that the impression that he got had that conversation was that he thought he could beat Vince. And that pretty much told Cornette, I can't take this guy seriously because I guess he was echoing some things that he had heard before from other people out there that he's had the displeasure of working with. Uh, but he just knew that no, this isn't doable because that's just not the way that the game is set up anymore, so to speak. So you can be optimistic about it and everything, but yeah. And the other thing too, again, is that yeah, he keeps trying to say that we're the underdog, we're the little engine that could this, that, or the other thing. And I can't remember which event it was. I think it was about a year or so ago now. He was complaining about being treated badly by WWE, or I don't know if it was in reference to them deciding to air NXT opposite Dynamite or something like that. But he was just out there saying, "I'm not going to take this and lay down. I've got a lot more money than Jim Crockett did." Right, exactly, and that's why you're not the healthy little underdog because you are a rich fuck.
Yeah. And they're not even going
Correct.
against anybody in ratings right now with their Dynamite show because it's on Wednesday. They don't even have. They're not even competing against
The only
directly
thing that they're
against
going,
WWE.
the only thing that they're going up against is whatever else is on that night. Which right now, in the last few weeks, and everything's been a lot of hockey and basketball playoffs.
Right.
You know, so that's why they keep saying like, oh, it was like third in the night and everything like that, and it's like, whoop de doo. You know, people are trying to also make the excuse, yeah, the ratings are down, but ratings for television are down as a whole, and it's like, whoop de doo. I mean, he keeps saying that, it's all based upon like the new rights fee. That's gonna make the company profitable and everything. And okay, but when your ratings are dropping the way that they've been dropping, why should that make you get more money? Even if you're still
Yep.
doing like well, like relative to the night or this, that, or the other thing, why does that mean that you should be getting more money from anybody?
Because I just should. I
Yeah.
should.
So I don't know. It just, and again, our dear friend in Ohio always says that he doesn't, care about this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, all right, I get it. You're not interested in like the business aspect of it. I mean, that's perfectly fine, everything I said. But again, if one day the purse strings get snatched away, you ain't gonna see your precious bucks anymore
No.
because they're not gonna go to WWE because they think that they're above it. And also because they'd be told what to do. And you can't tell them what to do. So it
No,
is
you can't.
it is what it is, as they say.
Yep. That's for sure.
But anyway,
But
in case you didn't know, the my little name tag today, if you will, is in
Yes.
reference to Omega was doing one of his Twitch streams again, and he said something about how like Meltzer's ratings don't matter that much anymore because it's just one man's opinion and because the system's broke and he's the one who broke the system. Um, which, I see exactly what he means by that. It's because I think I think Kenny was the first one that got like a 6-star match or 7-star match or whatever the fuck. Um, and what was I gonna say? So yeah, he was. It sounded like he was criticizing Meltzer, and then the whole thing was coming out was like, was he working or not? And apparently, according to Meltzer, yeah, he was working. It's a thing between Kenny and Osprey that's building up to a match. Two
Yay.
things. Two things. Two things.
really, is that what
One,
it's doing?
Kenny is out until God knows when. That's the biggest problem, obviously. His availability is very much TBD. Two, you're telling me that they're working to have a program based upon who got better ratings from fucking Dave Meltzer? Please explain to me why anybody should care about that.
No one should.
No.
Even the fucking hardcore AEW fans, they're supposed to like both guys. They're supposed to like with both of them when they put on great matches. So who fucking cares who got the highest star rating from Meltzer ever? It just this would be like if back in 1990 the Hogan Warrior feud wasn't based upon Warrior needing to take the next step and become the world champion and dethrone, Hogan and everything, who had technically never legitimately lost the title since he first won it because he got fucked when Andre beat him and everything. It's about who was most the apple of Vince McMahon's eye. which nobody
Yeah.
would have cared about then because nobody knew that Vince was the owner then, from an on camera perspective. So if that whole feud had been based upon well, let me tell you something, brother. I'm Vince McMahon's favorite. Hulk Hogan, the Cosmos has told me that I am going to be Vince's favorite son. That's essentially what they're doing. But the worst part of it is that at least Vince was somebody who worked for the fucking company. Though I believe Meltzer is at best, or at worst rather, a unpaid, unofficial consultant for AEW. So who knows if Tony's really giving him any money under the table.
I don't
Wouldn't
know.
surprise me if he was.
Oh, he probably give him a little money on the side there, give him a little cash there.
So it's
You
it's
know,
it's just such a messed up situation. It's like, and people keep asking me, well, why do you keep watching it? I'm like, well, because I do this for one thing,
yeah.
and because Cornette covers it a lot, and I like listening to Cornette's podcast. And if I don't see it to at least know what's going on, I would have no frame of reference. I'd be sitting there just going like, all right, I'm just listening to white noise right now because I don't know what happened. I didn't see it. That obviously happens with the pay per views because I don't buy their fucking pay per view, so all I can do is read the results and maybe see video clips when they get posted online before Aubrey has them taken down and everything. So,
She's still doing that.
oh yeah,
Ridiculous, man.
yeah. I
Ridiculous.
mean, when they aired
They said something bad. Take it down. Shh.
when they aired the Punk footage, which of course they thought was going to get everybody on their side and prove whatever point he was trying to make. They posted the footage themselves, like on their Twitter account or whatever. And then when they were getting the feedback and the immediate reception, I think including from Meltzer that it was a bad idea to do it, then they were pulling it down as quickly as they could. And anybody who had reposted in any way, shape, or form, they were tagging and flagging and
Tagging and flagging.
tagging and flagging and shucking and jiving and bipping and bopping and cease and desisting. So yeah.
Yep.
When it blew up in their face, it was basically Tony called her up and said, "Yeah, he's taken down." Don Stevens, whatever the fuck her alter ego name is.
Too funny, man. Too
But
funny.
again, of course, it doesn't matter. Like we said earlier, once something's on the internet, it's always there. So people have kept finding ways to repost it all. So
Oh yeah. 100%.
hey, if you didn't want the footage to be shared, don't show the footage.
Because
You open the box.
all somebody has to do is save it,
Right.
and then
It's
they
like
can repost it forever.
it's like all those times on Law and Order when you're watching the trial and the judges ruled that such and such can't be brought up. But then one of the attorneys asks a question which opens the door, and then when the other attorney objects, then they have the little conference, and the judge is like, "You opened the door, Mister Whoever." So the prosecution is free to ask about it now. That's it's not a perfect analogy, of course, but it's a little bit more on point than Pepsi to Harvey Weinstein. So
Oh, very much so. Very much. Very much.
yeah, so
100%.
but I'm sure somebody out there will be treating me like I'm Scott and they're Dr. Evil,
Of course. Why wouldn't they?
where they'll just go, "Pat, you just don't get it, do you?" You don't. No, I don't get it, and I'm glad to never get it. Thank you.
Oh, but you're gonna get it. Gonna get it good. You don't get got.
Well, no, I'm not going to get it because nobody's there to give it to me because he's no longer with us. X can't give it to me.
Oh, jeez.
I was wondering if that's where you
True.
were going.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
wondering. Definitely was wondering if that's where you're going.
No.
All right.
And it definitely was. Oh
All
boy,
right.
oh boy,
So
oh
Pat has
boy.
made reference to two dead people today. So
I know.
Two?
Yep, just two.
Who was the other?
Aaron Carter.
Aaron Carter's dead?
Yeah, dude.
Did I know that?
That was a long time ago too.
I don't know if I
Oh,
remember
here he
that now or
goes. He's
not.
gonna he's
He's
gonna
got to
hop
look
on
it
his
up. He's gonna be like, oh, when he finds out how he died too, he's gonna be like, oh,
Oh
I
yeah, he
retract all
died.
statements.
He died about a year and a half ago.
hmm
Look where it says his occupation: singer, songwriter, rapper, actor.
hmm
Probably being generous.
Keep diving there, Pat.
Oh, he drowned after he basically fell asleep in the tub. It sounds like
Yes.
that's not. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, he had a lot of mental issues,
Yeah,
dealing with a lot of mental
I
health
mean,
stuff.
there's sections on his Wikipedia page here about legal issues, controversies, finances, and on November 22nd, 2013, Carter filed a bankruptcy petition to shed more than $3.5 million in debt, mostly taxes owed from the money he made at the height of his popularity when he was a minor. So obviously he oh, this gets a lot more unsavory. Okay. Not cool. The main thing is, I remember him. He was still playing like kind of like the little kid role in that video that I referenced. Now I'm seeing this picture of him from 2014 when he would have been, what was that, like 27? Um, yeah, he didn't age gracefully.
No,
Like, is it?
lot of abuse.
Well, yeah. It's like I don't know if it was because of like drug use or alcohol use or whatever, but it's like I mean, he looks kind of gaunt, so probably is some drug use with that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, his facial features definitely deteriorated. I don't know. It just like the cute kid image was never going to work. Like you okay, because this is different. Haley Joel Osment, had that cute kid face and everything, even up through his teenager years. Now you look at him and he's a little chubby. He's got the thick beard and everything, but it's like he didn't maintain that cute kid look. Um,
Yes.
there's some people who I know did. My one cousin who also ironically has drug issues, unfortunately. Whenever I've seen him, which has been precious few times since he's like been an adult and everything, it's like he still kind of retained the same features that always had, and everybody talk about what a cute kid he was and shit. So it's like, um, that's also after drug use too. So that's kind of interesting, but yeah, I think I probably did read that he had died, and I just totally forgot about it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh huh.
I was wondering. Oh no, I was like legitimately saying like, who else did I make reference to? Who's that? I really can't think of anybody else. So
Yeah, the other interesting thing that's been happening in entertainment has been the all the stuff coming out about that producer from is it Disney,
Nickelodeon.
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 Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that documentary yet. I kind of intend to, but at the same time, it's like if it was stuff that had happened during the era in which I watched Nickelodeon, I'd probably have a bigger interest in it. But this is about stuff that was like when I wasn't watching Nickelodeon anymore. So I don't. So that's probably one of the reasons I avoided it. Also because that's just really just like a lot of unsavory shit that just kind of makes your skin crawl. And there's only so much of that I think one can take.
I watched the whole thing, and then a couple weeks ago they had a another episode on like a um how do you want to call it? It was kind of an after show where they did interviews with the specific people that were in the four episodes. They had two of the kids on, and one of his mom, and the one kid's mom was on. They had somebody that wasn't featured in the four episodes, but came on that show to kind of go over some of the stuff that he dealt with as well. And then the main guy, the one guy, I can't remember his name, that was kind of featuring like the last two episodes, he came back on again and they went over some more items and questions and things of that nature. It's interesting. It's very disturbing of how he has responded back to
Yeah,
the
he's
backlash of this.
Yeah,
of this
he's
documentary and whatnot, acting like he did nothing wrong.
right. He's taken the "I am totally innocent" routine, which
Yeah.
a lot of people have done over the years, of course, with shit like this. I mean, like Kevin Spacey's trying to get back into the game, as it were, because he's like, oh, I was found not guilty in a court of law. Yeah, in England. Uh,
Yeah, that documentary's out now, and there's like a new episode that just aired, I think yesterday
What do I
or
not
this
know
week or
about Kevin
something.
Spacey?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
there's one
stuff's
about
been
Kevin
ongoing for
Spacey. Yeah.
years. He was accused of basically trying to prey on actors in like the theater that he was running in London for years and everything, and it caused a big brouhaha, if you will, because that movie that came out a few years ago about the Getty kidnapping from the 70s, All the Money in the World with Mark Wahlberg and Michelle Williams. Spacey had totally filmed a role where he played J. Paul Getty, who was, the rich oil man and everything. And I remember seeing the initial trailer for it, and I was going, God damn, they made him look a lot like like J. Paul Getty and everything. But then, like when those allegations started coming out and everything, Ridley Scott was like, you know what? I don't want to release this movie with him in it because it's probably going to cause backlash and everything. So, like 3 weeks before the movie was set to be released, he went back and he totally refilmed all the scenes with Christopher Plummer playing the role. Totally cut Spacey out of the movie and replaced him. They didn't try to make Christopher Plummer look like J. Paul Getty because they really couldn't. Because again, they were doing this like so last minute and everything. I remember, damn, I wonder if he can pull this off. And I'm pretty sure I did go see that movie in the theaters. And I know Christopher Plummer got an Oscar nomination for it too.
Yeah.
Um, there's still this part of me that wants to see the version with Kevin Spacey though. But yeah, it was a whole big thing and everything. And so he's trying to like rehabilitate his image now too. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I mean, I always really liked him as an actor, but
It's been a long time since I've seen anything with Kevin Spacey.
well, yeah, that's one of the reasons why.
Well,
He basically
I
hadn't
understand
done.
that now, but
Yeah, he basically hasn't done any films since then. So they killed off his character in House of Cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to ever watch
Yep.
House of Cards. So
I did. It was, and that was a good show. Like he was really good in it. His on-screen wife was really good in it. That was a crazy show. But yeah, they killed him off. I forget what they did with him, some heart attack or something he had or whatever the case may be.
yeah,
But yeah,
so unfortunately, as it's proven to us time and time again, there are a lot of horrible people in this world.
yes, there
yes there
is.
are.
All right, and with that, I think we'll call it a night.
Call
Bum
this a
bum
night. Call this
bum.
a night. Call it a night. Call it a night.
So, um, we'll leave
Wait,
it
I
on
didn't get to
the.
talk
We'll
about
leave
the
it
one.
on documentaries about evil people.
Wait, I didn't get to talk about the one thing I really wanted to talk about tonight.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't think I was going to get put on the spot.
All right. So we want to thank
I
everybody
didn't
for
have
watching.
anything.
I figured not. You were being a butthole. All right. So
Plug it up.
we want to
Plug
thank
it up.
everybody for watching and tuning in on YouTube live. It's always fun to do this, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoy talking about these fun little topics and that. Going off on wild tangents that don't tie to the original topic that we were talking about, but we eventually get back there.
It reminds
So
me of something that happened to me back in eighth grade.